Greetings from my workbench. Laney, this will have to do kitchen table wise because this is where all my stuff is. Okay, let's see here. I want some 28 gauge wire. And I want about 10 inches of it. Alright. Wire. And put that over there with all the other wires. Now, I'll take my, don't need this yet, wire winding gizmo. And I've got a 3mm rod I'm going to use for this. And it's the same thing. I zip tied an alligator clip to it. And I put wire through there about like that. Now, this extra piece hanging off is a good idea if you have a hard time holding on to things, because if that lead is only that big, it's going to be a pain in the butt to grab. That's not grabbing. There. Alright, now I'll just take this and that's about the right width. Notice I'm not counting wraps because I don't care. Straighten these out a little bit. Trim that one off. Got about an inch extra. No jokes, Cromwell. Alright. Now I'll pull that so they're both coming off opposite sides. That. Now, I have a screwdriver here that is just the right size, so I set it out on there. Now I've got this piece of 1x wood that is old and haggard, and it's got a 510 to 510 adapter that I think it's a 1/4 inch hole. I just screwed it into the hole. Works as a base. Alright, I'm doing this on a sub-tank mini base because it's like most daddies. Anyway, so all I got to do here is set this wire in between here. So it's underneath. Oops. Loosen that up a bit. Okay. Now the leads are at the bottom of the coil. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap it around this wire and wrap it up around the screwdriver. So now the screwdriver is holding it underneath the trap screw. It's another reason I want those long leads. Now I take that out. And spin it around. Screwdriver back through. Put it underneath the screw, wrap it around, and come up and wrap around that screwdriver. And I'll tighten this one down. Okay. Right. I'll use my handy screwdriver to get it over the hole. Alright. Make sure they're both snug. 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 Okay. Take my flush cut nippers and cut that off close. Same thing on the other side. Alright, now I've got a coil sitting there. Take it off of this, put it on this. got it at 10 watts. That'll be good. Now, it's going to light up funny the first time. Okay, so I heated it up just until it barely glowed. Now I'm going to strum it just a little bit with this little tiny screwdriver. Real light. Oh, now it's glowing nice. Strum, strum. That's perfect. What's my resistance? That's 0.96. Or 1.96. That'll do. Alright. Take it back off that. Back on here. Because when the cotton's dry, I definitely don't want to accidentally hit the button on here. Because that'd just burn it. Let me throw this scrap wire away before it falls on the floor. Alright, now I'll take a piece of cotton. And since this is a 3mm coil, I want to cut about a 6mm, 7mm strip out of this sheet of Kojun dough. Now, I've done this so many times I can do it by eye. You may want to measure. Take off a little layer. And throw that away. Alright, now take one end and make it pointy by rolling it in your finger real tight. Like that. I'll go through. Makes a little tiny squeaky noise, but it's not deforming anything. Alright. Now for this one, my little trick is to take these scissors. These are, I don't know, scissors. And tucking the wick down. See, it made a little crease right there? Tucked it right up against that deck. Right here in the crux. Like that. Now I'll lay it down here and cutting at an angle so that this blade is touching that mark I made. Snip. Same thing on the other side. Fold it down, tuck it in, set that underneath, and snip that off at an angle. So now the length of the cotton on the bottom is shorter than the length on the top because the bottom doesn't have as far to go to get to the deck as the top does. Now, juice. Juice, juice, juice. Juice, juice. That's good enough. I just get it wet enough so that it'll hold position. Now I take my handy dandy dental pointer poker thing, or a tiny screwdriver, and tuck that up against that deck base. Same thing on the other side. Right. Now we need the chimney. That. Come on, catch. What the? Goes. All right, now I'm going to make sure that We got a little bit of space. This isn't too tucked in. And of course, wicking will be dependent on whatever you put it in. But putting a coil under 2 screws is the same for, you're just putting a coil under 2 screws. Doesn't really matter what you're putting it in. Now I'll put the top, actually before I do that, put it back on this. Push the button. I'm going to blow while I'm pushing the button. It makes vapors. Okay, and I don't have any shorts. Alright, screw that on. My tank, which is already full of juice. That one there. Turn it over. Turn the wattage up a touch. Not bad. That's it.